That's how it should happen, maybe.
Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is directed by two people. Count them. One, two people. Um, Directors Anna Borden and Ryan Fleck. This is the latest MCU movie leading to Avengers Endgame, which is coming out next month. So, okay, you guys, those of you who caught my reaction videos going in to see Captain Marvel, my reaction after I saw this movie, and I want to talk about, okay, starring Samuel L. Jackson, Brie Larson, and LaShonda Lynch, as well as Jude Law. And I want to mention her because she stood out to me really, Jamia Chan, who plays a Kree on here, as a part of Star Force. Okay, first of all, I got a lot to say. You guys better listen. I got a lot to say. Alright. Okay, this movie follows the story of Carol Danvers, a Air Force pilot who is actually a Kree, extraterrestrial Kree, that as she ends up involved in intergalactic struggle between the Skrulls and the Kree. Also, she thought, okay, this is a spoiler review, so I'm going to give you guys, narrow it down for you. This movie takes place in, they call it C-53 Earth in 1995, so there's a lot of 90s nostalgia, and I want to talk about a little bit before I actually get into the real review. I liked a lot of it, but some of it just really it was just so out of place. Okay, so Brie Larson, okay, I'm going to forget about all the controversy. Is this movie a feminist movie? Yes, it is. Is this movie good? Not quite sure, but you guys will find out when I'm done with this. So she has to somehow harness her power. She's being trained by Jude Law, who's the leader of Star Force. They have to go find and stop the Skrulls from getting their head of some kind of hyperdrive, or to make their ships faster. According to the Kree, they are the terrorists, and the Kree have to stop them from invading more worlds and enslaving, becoming more powerful. Also, we think, anyways. So, first of all, the movie kind of flip-flops a little bit between Carol Danvers' memories and the current time. So you're kind of like a little bit, you're not really sure what's going on and what timeline you're at, unless you, because when we go to Earth, sector C-353. So that is known as Earth, and then Carol Danvers finds herself trying to pursue the Skrulls from getting their hands on this technology that's supposed to make them much more powerful, and they're able to invade more worlds and enslave and terrorize taking place. So Carol Danvers runs into a young Nick Fury, and I just gotta say, I totally agree with some people that Samuel L. Jackson really, he looks a little bit different on the movie, but I didn't notice it at first. I really didn't notice it at first because the best type of special effects, really, when you don't know if there's special effects, and he's a young Nick Fury, and he's just kind of finding his let's just say his calling as he'll become the main director of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we see a young Coulson on here too as well. So so now he meets Brie Larson, he meets Carol Danvers, and he has to try to make sense of what's going on. And she crash lands on Earth, and there's a blockbuster. There's a lot of feminist stuff going on in this movie, including in the flashback. So I'm gonna talk about the positives and the negatives of this movie. Okay, and I want the spoilers coming up. So
Cover your ears and not want to know.
this movie does this movie connect to Avengers Endgame? Yes, it does. And how does that make sense to the overall? Basically, this Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. First of all, I'm gonna focus on this right now. Keep Brie Larson as Captain Marvel is. Do I think when I think of Captain Marvel, do I think of Brie Larson? Like when I think of Wonder Woman, I think of Gal Gadot. Or when I think of Thor, I think of Chris Hemsworth. When I think of Captain Kirk, uh, William Shatner or Chris Pine. When I think of Spider-Man, I think of Tom Holland or Tobey Maguire. When I think of the Incredible Hulk, I think of Mark Ruffalo. So, do I think that Brie Larson did a great job? Yes, she did. But she really, the biggest problem with this is I don't think I ever saw Captain Marvel in this movie, even though this movie was about Captain Marvel, even though this movie kind of flip-flop between her memories because the Kree are trying to probe her memories when they capture her in the opening action scene, which is good. I felt like I was watching a Star Trek movie. If you know what I mean, if you catch my drift there, sir. I felt like I was watching a Star Trek movie. And Brie Larson, do I think Brie Larson is Captain Marvel? I really don't. I'm kind of in between the road with this one because she did her best. Do I think she really tried? I don't think. I'm not sure she really tried that hard. I just think she was being Brie Larson. I never saw Captain Marvel once in this movie. I just saw Brie Larson, the feminist, on this movie. Even though I have nothing against her, I think she's a good actress. Do I think when I 10 years from now, am I going to remember this movie? Yes, as a filler for Avengers Endgame, but I'm just being completely honest. I have nothing against Brie Larson. I don't hate her. I'm not trying to, given the point being that there's supposedly empty seats or empty theaters. Okay, when I went to go see Captain Marvel, there was Captain Marvel was in the far left of the theater. It was in theater two, and yeah, there was maybe four of us watching this movie. But then again, when I saw Avengers: Infinity War, there wasn't a whole lot of people either. When I saw a bunch of other movies, probably the movie that I saw the most people in was when I went to go see Annabelle Creation. I never reviewed that movie, so that I'll take away all this. Did I see Captain Marvel on this movie? No, I didn't. I don't think that Brie Larson. I have nothing. Point being, I have nothing against her at all. I'm not a part of this conspiracy theory to discredit Captain Marvel or anything. I'm just telling you guys how it is, like it is, proper review, and I'm giving my thoughts on it. So this is going to be a longer review because it is a spoiler review. So she finds out later on in the film that the actual enemies of this film is actually the Kree, and the pilot it shows a memory of her going down with the pilot that invented this hyperdrive that the Kree are trying to get, that the Skrulls are trying to secure to help them. And so the real villain of this film is the pilot that she goes down with and dies. She's actually a Kree alien, and this guy who's been training her. So she's actually human. She's not really alien. She's basically adapted to the Kree way of life. So that's why she only sees like just little sparks of her memory throughout the film, and that's another thing I didn't like. So I'm going to talk more about the negatives of this movie because there's not a whole lot of positives. Because really, this movie is like a 1990. Let's just say if Captain Marvel or the MCU would have started in 1995, this is what it would have looked like. Because like I shared in my earlier video before I did this one, that the bar has just been raised way too high for us to still be this. I agree with a lot of reviewers that this movie seems more like a Phase One Marvel F, film, MCU film, than we are. For the crying out loud, we just got off probably some of the biggest films of all time. The Oscar nominated Black Panther, the innovative and just probably one of the best MCU films I've ever gonna see in my entire life, probably Thor Ragnarok, and the the bar just got raised to just eons of expectations with Avengers Infinity War. So is this a movie filler for us to just to go watch and see if we see anything that has anything to do with Endgame? Yes, it is. Unfortunately, I see this movie again? I will, because it is an MCU film, and because there is a couple of the little appeals that I like about this movie that was appealing to me, but not a whole lot really. Brie Larson is just Brie Larson 80%, 85% of the time, and she's not Captain Marvel. She tries, I guess she tries her best, and she tries to be witty, kind of funny, or kind of just a wise guy, but it just really doesn't come across on the screen. I don't think maybe it's because this movie was directed by two people. That might be the biggest flaw, the downfall of this movie. So there's a lot of, I could kind of take this movie apart, really. So I'm going to tell you right now, there's a scene in the beginning where it's just so, you can't tell what's going on. It's not because of the shaky cam, it's just the editing. Is really, they're trying to do a style of editing that makes it seem more, if you will, like the movement, so make it more exciting. Because imagine if you filmed a movie with just one camera. We're talking about amateurs here, amateur night here. So they're using different angles with the camera, and it's just not working for me. It didn't work for me. And there's also the character of Goose the cat, who actually happens to be some type of alien creature that eats a couple of the Kree in one scene. And I'm going to get to the part of Nick Fury and a couple other stuff right now, but before I get to that, I just want to talk a little bit about how this movie basically is very disappointing for me. I really thought we were gonna be treated to something much better than this, but my voice is cracked. But I really didn't go with too much expectations going into this movie, but I really thought I was gonna see. I think deep down inside, we all just want to see what's going to happen in Endgame. We all knew that was going to happen, right? So Samuel L. Jackson, we get to see how he loses his eye, why he wears the eye patch, I always thought it was going to be some kind of Vietnam injury or something, but that's not what happened. So Goose, the alien cat, scratches Nick Fury's eye as they're going home or going back to Earth. It really kills. It doesn't take anything away from Samuel L. Jackson's character, because he is Samuel L. Jackson. He's not just some amateur. The guy's a freaking icon, for crying out loud. So but it really kills a lot of anticipation. We're finding, how did Nick Fury lose his sight in that eye, and why he wears a patch? It's just really stupid. I thought, like I said, it was going to be some kind of the Kree, wounded him or something like that. But that was really stupid. And there's another scene where Carol Danvers is going to fight the guy that has been training her, because she is abducted by the Kree. She's actually human. She's not extraterrestrial. So he's like, I wanted to see you fight without your powers. And for like a couple seconds, I thought she was actually going to fight a hand-to-hand battle with him, but so she just decides to use her photon blast. That is, my friends, the absolutely only really cool thing about Captain Marvel. When she uses her photon blast, it looks really cool. It looks really awesome. I love it. But as far as the rest of this movie, which is there's a lot of they kind of like I said they flip flop they rush her origin story and there it's and this movie does not there's no cohesiveness in the plot of this movie. So the Kree and speaking about the Kree don't seem alien to me. They seem just I don't know if just say if I was playing a Kree and I was gonna be Lewis, I was gonna be myself. There's no there's that they I mean if I was the directors of this movie because there's two directors that makes you want that's probably why this movie fails for me. This movie is a fail not because I dislike Brie Larson. I don't dislike her not because I'm going with the nerds that got offended what she said about white males. No, that has nothing to do with it. It's just this movie fails for me. And so I'm gonna give you guys my rating, but I'm still not done here with this spoiler talk. So I got a lot to say. So we have Brie Larson. Can you compare this movie to Wonder Woman? No, you can't because Wonder Woman is a much better film. It is with a much just the Gal Gadot or Gadot is just so light years ahead of Brie Larson as far as vulnerability. Does Captain Marvel show vulnerability on this movie? Yes, she does because when she finds out that the Skrulls are the actual victims and that the Kree are the actual villains, she has there's a moment where she feels that where she has her humanity is shown because 85% of the time, like I said, Captain Marvel was not in this movie. And how do we know Captain Marvel? Because has Captain Marvel ever been featured? The only thing we know about Captain Marvel is when we saw the X-Men, the animated series, where Rogue steals Carol Danvers' powers. That's all we know, so we don't know. But if I was the director of this film, I probably would have tried to give Brie Larson some more coaching as far as channeling what would Captain Marvel be like if she was a real person, if she was on this movie, because she was not on this movie. You know who was on this movie? Brie Larson. Was this a feminist movie? Yes, at times it is, and it has. There's a fight scene that takes place with no doubts just a girl. I'm just a girl in blue. That really kind of took me out of the movie for a minute there. It really did. There's also a really good another 90s nostalgia song that I love. Nirvana, "Come as You Are," when she's gonna go speak with one of the main villains of this film. That's the actual Kree alien that created this technology that the Skrulls were after with "Come as You Are," and I thought that was really cool. I like that. She's wearing a 9-inch nail. It's just grunge. There's grunge references. There's a part where she uses her photon blast to she's inside the Blockbuster and takes Arnold Schwarzenegger's head right off from the True Lies billboard stand. So this movie takes as much shots as it can against male chauvinist pigs, if you will, or whatever she's trying to come across, white males, you know. And then I want to talk about some of the supporting actors on this movie. Okay, Maria Rambeau and Monica Rambeau. Okay, both Maria Rambeau, Lashonda Lynch. She did a really great job in this movie. And there is an argument on the internet who was the original Captain Marvel. The original Captain Marvel was a male. And I'm going to do a little digging. Maybe I'll do a video about it. But the second Captain Marvel was Monica Rambeau, not Maria Rambeau. Okay, I want to just put that point across. The little girl is actually going to be Captain Marvel. But Carol Danvers is the third Captain Marvel, which came afterwards. So the second Captain Marvel is Monica Rambeau, who plays a 13 or 12-year-old girl on this movie. And eventually they kind of clue you in that she's going to be the next Captain Marvel. So do I think, I really think this movie's a fail for me because am I going to remember this movie? Yes, I am. But am I going to go out and buy this movie? If I feel like watching it because I'm gonna probably watch Avengers Endgame for the 1000th time, and So there is this movie is a fail for me. It really the problem for me really is that there are two directors because Brie Larson was Brie Larson. She was not Carol Danvers. Almost any time with this movie, she has a sense of vulnerability in this. And I don't agree with what people say. She's wooden. She's a great actress. She's got a great future. It's just that this is not. Yeah, I agree. This is not the part for her. I think we'll probably see maybe another Captain Marvel eventually take the mantle because, or we're gonna see, are we gonna see her come back to reprise the role? Yes, we are because we're gonna go see Avengers Endgame, and that's what we're that. This is why I really went to go see this movie. Honest, I'm being honest here. I want to go see end credit scene. What is the best scene in this movie? When Samuel Jackson is on the screen, when Jude Law is on the screen, when Lashonda Lynch is on the screen, and I want to talk about a little bit of supporting actors from Star Force. When her name is, hold on, let me look at Gemma Chan, who plays. She has probably more charisma going for her than what Brie Larson had on this movie. I'm sorry, like I said, Brie Larson is a good actress, but maybe this is not for her. And like I said, I'm not a white male, and I'm not bitter about anything, and I'm not talking bad about her. I'm just giving to you how it is. What I'm giving to you. I'm laying out the table here. I'm completely honest. This is the right review. The spoilers I'm sharing now. I got more. So as far as the MCU canon, there are stuff on here that I kind of just when I was sitting just watching this movie, I was just like, no. I was like, oh hell no, no, they didn't do that. So basically, the end credit scenes is, but right before the movie ends, Nick Fury has the Protectors Initiative, which is going to be called the Avengers Initiative. It's the Easter egg about the Avengers, and he gets the name Avengers from Carol the Avenger Danvers in her pilot days. So that is where I was just like, it's basically to make Captain Marvel in continuity with the MCU, with the Avengers, with Avengers Endgame. That's all it really is. It's not because this movie is going to win any awards or anything like that, even though it is the biggest movie in the world. I saw the other day actually on a commercial, and it's actually the second biggest opening since 2002. And so there is also we get to see the best. This is the best scene in the entire film. The best scene in the entire film. The best thing in the entire film is when we see Chris Evans, they like a silhouette, and then it's Chris Evans, it's Steve Rogers, and then we see Scarlett Johansson, we see Black Widow, we see Bruce Banner, we see some of the other Avengers, and we're also Carol Danvers, before she leaves Earth, she gives Nick Fury that little signal, and it's a tie-in to Avengers Infinity War that kind of brings, like I said, brings Captain Marvel into the continuity of Avengers Infinity War and Endgame to make her relevant. Really, it's not her. Like I said, it's not Captain Marvel. It's not Brie Larson. Really, it just makes Captain Marvel relevant. And I want to. So that is how the end of Avengers Infinity War, the final end credit scene, where Nick Fury fades off into dust after the Thanos snap, and it shows that little pager looking thing with the Captain Marvel symbol on it, and that Carol Danvers actually gave Nick Fury that, and that is how that ties her into the whole thing, into Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, which is going to be coming out next month. And we see Captain Marvel walk up and ask Black Widow and Steve Rogers, where is Fury? And of course, Fury is no longer. It turned to dust with half the universe after the end of Avengers Infinity War. So, okay, this movie, I'm gonna give this movie. I'm sorry, but your movie's not happening rating. It's not happening rating because this movie is not happening. Not because I hate. Keep in mind, I don't hate Brie Larson. This movie's just not happening. Sorry, but your movie's not happening rating. That's what I'm going to give this movie. If I had to continue giving the normal rating that I used to give, I would probably give this movie a C minus because it's not awful. It's just a fail. It's just not. It looks more like a Phase One MCU movie, and it just does it because the expectations after Avengers Infinity War really is just so high. It is just we are we are too advanced as far as MCU movies go to come out with something like this. This movie is it's going to be kind of like a little bump before we get to Avengers Endgame, and then we're going to see something probably, hopefully, top Avengers Infinity War because that's just humongous, such a huge movie, the top. But hopefully, we'll see that happen, and we'll all have a great time in the theaters. So, okay. Lastly, final thoughts on Captain Marvel. It was just a very disappointing movie. It looks more like if this, like I said earlier in the video, it looks. This is what the MCU would have looked like if this movie got made in actually was from 1995 and from the year 1995. It sounds like I said 1995. Yeah. So it on all accounts, there is the only bright spots of this movie are the actors I mentioned when Captain Marvel uses her photon blast, and there's no payoff in the end. You're just left with empty feelings with Captain Marvel. Okay, I hope I covered everything. Let me know in the comments below what you think about what I talked about if I missed any of the spoilers. If you've seen Captain Marvel, let me know. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? And as far as in canon, it basically makes Captain Marvel relevant because she has to be relevant because she's barely just joining the MCU and she has to be relevant. She has to tie in. And before I sign off, did Captain Marvel give me the idea that Kevin Feige said she is popular in the comics and she's the most powerful Avenger? And it's not Hulk, it's not Thor, it's not Doctor Strange. No, not at all. I didn't see that it showcased Captain Marvel being the most powerful Avenger because as far as Marvel universe is concerned, usually aliens are more powerful than humans because Hulk is a human and Thor is not human actually. So usually aliens are more powerful. Captain Marvel is not, to me, they never showed to me that Captain Marvel is the most powerful Avenger at all, not even once. Okay, put a like below this video because I put a lot of thought into this and I sat down, I just watched the movie and tell me your thoughts. What did you think that I missed as far as spoilers are concerned? Okay, so before I sign off, once again, thank you for subscribing and let your friends know about this blog because these are in-depth movie reviews that I'm doing, especially this one is clocking in 30 minutes. All right, so I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.